In an era where a single tweet can circle the globe in seconds, when the news you trust is carefully curated to echo your own beliefs, one must ask, how do we differentiate between fact and fiction? Our journey today begins in the quiet hum of traditional newsrooms, where the relentless pursuit of truth was once the heartbeat of society. But as the digital dawn broke, financial pressures and disruptive technology conspired to undermine that legacy. This is a story of transformation, a story of the old model's demise, the algorithm's iron grip, the human cost of misinformation, and a hopeful path toward renewed media literacy. Act 1. The old model's demise. Long before the digital revolution redefined our access to information, bustling newsrooms were centers of rigor and accountability. Journalists worked tirelessly with pen and paper, their determination anchored by a deep commitment to truth. The sound of clattering typewriters and the murmur of earnest discussion filled the air, a chorus of voices united by a singular mission of uncovering reality. In these hallowed halls, every printed word was meticulously verified, every story painstakingly fact-checked. The integrity of journalism was the result of countless hours, unwavering dedication, and an ethic that championed accuracy over speed. But as the new millennium approached, financial pressures began to mount. Advertising revenue, once the lifeblood of the printed page, started to trickle away as the digital world beckoned advertisers with promises of global reach. News organizations were forced to contend with severe budget cuts and dwindling resources, while technological advancement rumbled in the background. The traditional model, steeped in legacy and long-established practices, began to show signs of wear. Reporters found themselves increasingly shackled by deadlines, pressed to produce rapid outputs, even as the demand for quality and investigative insight grew. In this volatile atmosphere, the old model's reliance on deep, methodical reporting clashed with the emerging need for speed and virality. The newsroom, once an arena for robust debate and strategic inquiry, gradually transformed. Its images faded into relics on screens, replaced by a dizzying array of digital feeds that prioritized engagement over evidence. The reliability of long-practiced journalistic principles was undermined by an economic model that valued clicks and impressions above all else. As economic pressures mounted, the traditional newsroom found itself at a crossroads. The era of in-depth, investigative journalism was rapidly giving way to an environment where speed trumped accuracy and sensationalism overshadowed substance. The voice of the seasoned journalist, once a beacon of trust, was now drowned by the cacophony of online alerts and real-time updates. The cultural shift was palpable, a decline not just in financial stability, but also in the very ethos of truth. The relationship between society and its information sources began to erode, setting the stage for the digital transformation that would forever alter our connection to the news. Through whispered recollections and fading memories, the legacy of traditional journalism stands as both a monument and a cautionary tale. Its collapse was not the end, but rather the prelude to a tidal wave of change, a flood of digital information that would transform our understanding of news. The fading images of bustling, analog newsrooms stand in stark contrast to the sterile efficiency of the online world, where every image is subject to the algorithm's merciless eye, every headline a potential clickbait. As we peel back the layers of this transformation, we begin to understand that the demise of the old model was not governed solely by economic forces, but also by a radical shift in how we perceive and consume the truth. Act 2. The algorithm's grip. The digital revolution heralded a new age, one ruled not by human editors, but by cold, calculating algorithms. In the early days of social media, platforms emerged with promises of democratizing information and providing a stage for every voice. Yet behind the sleek interfaces and endless scroll of content lay a potent force. Algorithms designed to maximize engagement quickly took hold, curating content not with an eye for accuracy, but with strategies to capture attention. Every click, every share, and every like fed into a system that transformed users into mere data points, a vast echo chamber reinforcing predetermined beliefs. In this new digital arena, the speed of information surpassed the constraints of reality. The very tools intended to connect us began to distort our perception of truth. A tweet or meme, once a fleeting digital artifact, could now trigger a cascade of reactions that traveled at breakneck speed. Misinformation, with its sensational narratives and emotional hooks, found fertile ground in these echo chambers. False stories proliferated, rapidly outpacing carefully vetted facts. Statistical studies revealed that unverified content was shared exponentially faster than verified news. In many instances, false information reached vast audiences in the blink of an eye, compounding the challenge for those seeking the truth. The mechanics behind this digital spread are deceptively simple, yet profoundly disruptive. With every tap and scroll, algorithmic filters sort content based on what the user is likely to engage with. This self-reinforcing cycle leaves little room for dissenting opinions or balanced reporting. As a result, society finds itself ensnared in bubbles of affirmation, where divergent views are not only unwelcome, but actively suppressed. The rise of viral content, unstoppable in its momentum, means that misinformation doesn't merely exist on the fringes, it saturates our digital experience. What began as a promise of connectivity soon revealed darker implications. The algorithms that underpin social media platforms now dictate what we see, shaping our reality with curated feeds tailored to our predispositions. As users remain trapped in these silos, the capacity for genuine dialogue diminishes. Instead of a vibrant exchange of ideas, we are left with a narrowed perspective that fails to reflect the true diversity of our world. And in this echo chamber, the boundaries between fact and fiction have blurred to a near indistinguishable haze. A stark question emerges. When the narratives we consume are engineered to keep us engaged, can we truly trust the news? The answer forces us to confront the uncomfortable truth that the digital age has reshaped not only the delivery of information, but the very fabric of our understanding. As social media platforms continue their relentless pursuit for engagement, the grip of the algorithm tightens, influencing political discourse and public opinion alike. The sanctity of truth is increasingly sacrificed on the altar of immediacy, and the enduring impact of this digital dysfunction echoes in every corner of society. Act 3. The human impact. Beneath the surface of clicks and retweets lies the often overlooked human cost of this digital transformation. Behind every headline, every trending topic, there are real people whose lives have been profoundly affected by the spread of misinformation. Personal stories emerge from the shadows, tales of confusion, fear, and sometimes even tragedy, where unverified content has upended entire communities. These accounts remind us that the crisis of public trust is not merely a statistical aberration, but a deeply personal phenomenon that resonates on an individual level. During the tumultuous days of the global pandemic, false information wove its way into the public consciousness, exacerbating an already dire situation. Misleading claims about cures and preventive measures left individuals vulnerable, often with severe consequences. Communities once united by the common cause of addressing a public health emergency found themselves divided by baseless rumors and unfounded fears. In many cases, the impact was not just measured in numbers and charts, but in shattered trust and personal loss. Families, friends, and entire neighborhoods struggled to comprehend how the very tools meant to bring clarity could now serve as vectors for confusion and harm. Courtrooms and community centers turned into forums of public debate where individuals recounted the unpredictable fallout of living in a digital world overwhelmed by misinformation. The psychological toll of constantly filtering through conflicting information left many feeling isolated and uncertain about what to believe. Social isolation was compounded by the erosion of trust, a trust that had once been rooted in centuries-old journalistic principles. The human stories of lost livelihoods, damaged reputations, and fractured relationships are the raw, unvarnished truths of our era. They speak to a deep-seated vulnerability that arises when the very essence of truth is challenged by a relentless tide of digital disruption. Yet amid the despair, these personal narratives carry a resilient spark of hope. Many of those affected have risen to challenge the status quo, calling for enhanced media literacy and accountability. People from all walks of life are beginning to question not just what they see online, but the processes behind the news they consume. In neighborhoods and classrooms alike, grassroots initiatives are sprouting up to educate and empower citizens, arming them with the critical tools necessary to dissect the deluge of information. It is in these stories of individual awakening and community mobilization that we find the seeds of a more informed future. The human impact of misinformation is a multifaceted tragedy, one that underscores the urgent need for clarity, accountability, and education. As the lines between reality and fabrication blur, each personal account becomes a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of overwhelming odds. It is a reminder that beyond the algorithms, beyond the faceless digital currents, there are lives at stake. And as we listen to these stories, we are called not only to reflect on the cost, but to seek solutions that restore trust in the very institutions meant to serve as our guardians of the truth. Act 4. The Path to Literacy. In the aftermath of chaos and disillusionment, a new movement is stirring, a call to reclaim the integrity of our information landscape. The digital era may have ushered in unprecedented challenges, but it has also ignited a growing determination among citizens, educators, and thought leaders. This renewed commitment to media literacy represents not only a counter-movement against the tide of misinformation, but the birth of a more thoughtful, discerning society. Education has emerged as the cornerstone of this transformation. Workshops, community classes, and online courses are now dedicated to empowering individuals with the skills necessary to navigate the complex maze of digital media. These efforts emphasize critical thinking, the evaluation of sources, and the importance of corroborating facts before accepting them as truth. Through these initiatives, people are learning to decode the language of algorithms, demystifying the processes that have long manipulated public discourse. Across the nation, passionate educators and media experts are working tirelessly to rebuild the trust that has been eroded by the relentless pursuit of clicks and impressions. In classrooms and public forums, discussions that once centered solely on content now delve deeper into the mechanics behind the messages. These conversations are not only about identifying misinformation, but about understanding its origins, its roots in financial pressures, technological disruption, and the insidious spread of unverified content. In doing so, they are laying the groundwork for a new era of informed citizenship, one where trust is rebuilt on the stalwart pillars of evidence and accountability. This movement toward media literacy is more than a defensive reaction, it is a proactive stance against the erosion of truth. As society grapples with the digital revolution, every individual is encouraged to take responsibility for the information they consume and share. The call is clear: educate, question, and verify. With these tools in hand, citizens can navigate the overloaded digital landscape with greater clarity and discernment. The movement is a clarion call, a demand that we do not become passive victims of technology, but active participants in shaping a healthier, more truthful dialogue. Today, as we stand at the crossroads of a new era, it is imperative that we harness the lessons of the past to forge a better future. The decline of traditional journalism and the rapid rise of digital platforms have exposed vulnerabilities, but they have also illuminated the path toward a more resilient society. By embracing media literacy and fostering informed discussion, we pave the way for an information ecosystem where accuracy prevails over sensationalism and critical inquiry triumphs over blind acceptance. The journey does not end here. It begins with each one of us, taking small yet significant steps toward verifying the news before sharing it, questioning the sources, and demanding transparency. In this shared endeavor, there is hope, a chance to rebuild trust, restore credibility, and ensure that the truth remains a constant, guiding light amidst the ever-changing landscape of the digital age. Join us in exploring the forces reshaping our information landscape and learn how to become a more discerning consumer of news.